That's my doing my stretches. My gotta get warmed up for this. Hey everyone, I'm Abbey Sharp. Welcome to Abbey's Kitchen. Today's What I Eat in a Day YouTuber review is of Fit Shortie Eats because I got asked so many times to review this one, specifically this video. This is their Why Our Baby Will Only Eat Fruit video. And this What I Eat in a Day YouTuber review is going to be structured slightly differently than what I normally do, mainly because I wasn't really able to find a traditional What I Eat in a Day video by her. Most of her videos just show kind of like fruit or food hauls, lots of great footage of them exploring the rainforest and going to food markets, and super jealous right now just watching her life. But I wasn't really able to analyze the macros and the meals like I normally do. So what I can tell you about the Fit Shortie Eats duo, soon to be trio, is that it consists of Tina and Simon, and they are fruitarians, also call themselves fruit hunters. So apparently that's a real job in the YouTube world, and I'm very jealous about it. But basically they are expecting their first baby right now. So very exciting times. I assume the baby's already being born. And honestly, I thought they were a really cute couple. I really enjoyed watching their interactions. They both seem super, super sweet. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that a lot of my vegan followers have asked me not to refer to their diet as vegan because they very rightfully so have pointed out that veganism and fruitarianism are not the same thing. And I get that. I get why you don't want to be associated with that, because one is a dangerous fad in my opinion, and one can be a very healthy lifestyle. Black and white, not the same, done. So in this particular video, Tina suggests that she's going to be feeding her child a completely fruitarian diet. And this is where the controversy lies.
Still fruitarian? Our child will be fruitarian. I mean, I see no reason why we would make or feed our child something else. Like,
I see lots of reasons, but we'll get to that in just a second. So first, I want to talk about what a fruitarian diet actually is. So, funny little anecdote, when I was a little kid, I used to call myself a fruitarian because, like most kids, I loved fruit. And while I probably, yes, was a picky eater who loved strawberries, I also loved peanut butter and chicken and broccoli and bread and pasta and a wide variety of other things as well. So my mom probably thought that was some kind of cute statement made by a preschooler 30 years ago, but if she knew what I know now, she'd probably her pants. At its most restrictive, fruitarians, not surprisingly, as it sounds, only consume fruit, though some less aggressive followers also allow nuts and seeds. Either way, it is a crazy fad diet with a huge following on social media and YouTube, with over 750,000 tags used on Instagram right now. It's crazy. It was also recently made infamous by Apple CEO Steve Jobs, and when Ashton Kutcher tried it out to get into his role to play Jobs for a film, he ended up hospitalized. So let's take a peek at what they're eating.
Marjoram, one dragon fruit for iron and hemoglobin, right, for the pregnant lady.
for the pregnant lady.
Then rambutan. This is marmalade jackfruit.
Oh.
Really good. Can you see the quality of it? Yeah. Sorry for the plastic, but there's no other way to buy it. So.
Oh my god, it's
epic,
so
epic,
juicy,
epic
right?
jackfruit. Then we have a lot of papaya.
Yeah.
I think we have 2 more papayas in the trunk, right?
I think so.
Pineapple, and green bananas.
Okay then, well, let's talk about the macros and get right into this, because yes, beautiful, beautiful fruit here, very refreshing, I'm sure, but inevitably very unbalanced. So fruit, as we know, is basically all carbs. So I would definitely be worried about the other macros, protein and fat in this diet. Protein specifically, because even the best sources of protein in fruit are really not that good. A cup of coconut, you're looking at 2.7 grams of protein, an avocado is 4 grams of protein, and a jackfruit is just 3 grams of protein. So you'd have to eat a lot of that to meet your needs. So having said that, I would be very concerned about things like muscle wasting, immune function, hair, nails, skin. Basically, everything in your body is made up of protein. Fats would be another big major concern area for me. Yes, you can get lots of great fats from avocados and coconuts, but you cannot get omega-3 fats. And omega-3s play an integral role in hormone functioning, brain health, and heart health. Now for baby, omega-3s, particularly the EPA and DHA omega-3s, which are types of omega-3s, are really important for baby's cognitive and visual development. And while we can find omega-3s, the ALA omega-3s, that's another type, in nuts and seeds, aka not fruit, we know that the conversion to EPA and DHA is not great. And that's why we typically recommend a marine source as the ideal situation. Okay, so let's talk about those micronutrients. So yes, fruit is super nutritious. It's packed with fiber, antioxidants, energizing carbs, and lots of micronutrients like vitamins A and C. And this is great because it's probably the case that she is meeting, if not exceeding greatly, her needs for fluid and fiber, which is really important when baby starts messing with your bowel movements, and also getting her fill of vitamin C, which we have increased needs for in pregnancy due to the formation of collagen and blood vessels. So kudos to that. Also, one of the major nutrients of concern in pregnancy is the B vitamin folate, which helps prevent the formation of neural tube defects. So for that reason, it's recommended that all pregnant women take a prenatal supplement with at least 400 micrograms of folic acid daily. Now the good news is that citrus, bananas, avocados, and papaya are all sources of folate. So while it'd still be recommended that she takes some kind of prenatal supplement, if she's eating all those things, it's very likely she's at least getting enough. All that said, she's left a lot to be desired, especially for a pregnant lady or her baby. So iron and B12 are probably the big ones. These tend to be concentrated in animal foods, whole grains, and in some veggies. We also know that iron needs are particularly high in pregnancy because of the increased blood volume. And I don't see a lot of iron-rich foods in Tina's diet. I don't really see any, actually. As for baby, when baby starts to hit the 6-month mark, their iron stores are depleted, and even breast milk is not enough to carry them through those next 6 months. So that's why we really suggest that when we introduce solids, we're focusing on iron-rich foods. And sadly, a baby's just not going to meet their needs eating papaya and rambutan. As for B12, I definitely think this is a big one, especially in light of new research that suggests that low B12 in pregnancy can result in preterm labor or neural tube defects. Both things you don't want. Calcium and vitamin D are also really important nutrients for promoting bone growth in utero and also preventing rickets or bowed legs in childhood. We've basically eliminated rickets in developed countries, and I would hate for any child to suffer through this debilitating condition just because of poor prenatal or early childhood nutrition. So typically we find calcium and vitamin D in things like dairy, some nuts and seeds, greens, and fortified items. Zinc would be another one I'm worried about. It promotes gene expression and cell growth in pregnancy. It also helps prevent the risk of infection and growth impairment when baby starts on solids. So this would be definitely something that I'm concerned about. And you can find zinc in animal products, nuts, dairy, eggs, and whole grains. Iodine is another really important one because it helps produce the thyroid hormone, which is responsible for growth, blood cell production, and muscle function. Also, there is research to suggest that deficiency of iodine in pregnancy has been linked to miscarriage and intellectual disability in the baby. So I would definitely be worried about this one. You can get iodine in a lot of fish products, whole grains, and dairy products. So yeah, we need this. Other major nutrients of concern include vitamin E, which is an immune boosting nutrient found in nuts and seeds, and vitamin K, which is really important for blood coagulation, and that's found in greens. Now listen, one thing I want to emphasize is that we know YouTube life is not necessarily real life, and we only know what we see in a video. So I have no clue if Tina is taking a prenatal supplement or any other supplements, or if she's eating other things. I have no idea. One thing I do want people to know is that a supplement is just that, a supplement to a healthy, well-balanced diet. And at this time, there is no magic pill that can replace the amazing benefits in whole, real food. So yes, When you're pregnant, you definitely want to make sure that you're taking a prenatal supplement, but that should not be a replacement for a balanced, healthy lifestyle and diet. I also want to talk about the sheer volume of sugar in this diet. So fruit, as we know, is mainly sugar. It's actually predominantly fructose sugar. And when we consume an excess of sugar, especially in the absence of any protein or fat to slow down the absorption, we overwork the pancreas to pump out a ton of insulin. So personally, I would be concerned about like pancreatic stress on a diet like this, as well as dental caries for sure, especially because I saw another video of hers where she said she never brushes her teeth. She just like eats an apple and it cleans her mouth. Now in Tina's case, I want to talk about gestational diabetes. I want to make it very clear that carbohydrates and sugar do not cause gestational diabetes. However, I don't know what her prenatal care is like out there in the rainforest. And I saw in another video that Tina is 40 years old, which already puts her at very high risk for gestational diabetes. So if something like this were to go undetected and unflagged, and she's eating this massive carb load all day long, it could be really seriously problematic. Untreated gestational diabetes can result in macrosomnia, which is like a big baby, preterm labor, respiratory distress, and type 2 diabetes. You don't want to mess with. Finally, the last thing I want to say is I just feel like this fruitarian diet is so restrictive. It's putting forward the wrong message about having a healthy relationship with food. I want to just play for a second what she has to say about this.
Until the child is of age to earn its own money and buy its own food, it's always going to be eating what the parents are eating and what food they're gonna put on the table. So if nothing changes and we're still fruitarian, our child will be fruitarian. I mean, I see no reason why we would make or feed our child something else. We are both, Simon and I, completely content with the idea that our children, once they grow up and once they have, their own wants and the needs to explore, that our children will explore other foods, whether it be cooked foods or even non-vegan foods, right? Because what you put in your mouth is the biggest manifestation of your personal freedom in this life. I cannot control what you eat any more than you can control what I eat. So how could I, control what my child eats? So if my child interacts with other children, or, if he's going for a rebellion phase, which we know we've all been for like a rebellion phase in our teenage years, I'm gonna love him and support him, whatever his, food experiments may be like, wherever his food experiments may take him. But as long as I'm putting the food on the table, it's most likely to be fruit. At the same time, I have high hopes that, our children won't resort to eating animal flesh. So I do plan on incorporating the information about animal suffering and factory farming in our education of our children, and the essence of ahimsa, of not harming other beings by eating animals, and so that at least there is some hope that our children won't be eating meat when they grow up. But again, it's all about personal freedom. Whatever they want to do once they grow up is their choice. As long as I'm putting the food on the table, it's probably going to be fruit.
Finally, I want to talk about Tina's philosophy. I really, really love and agree that Tina says that, food is a huge part of our identity and it's the greatest manifestation of who we are. And I also love that she's completely open to the idea of her child eventually one day making their own choices about what to eat and kind of exploring that agency. That's awesome. So Tina also says that, we can't tell her what to eat the same way that she can't tell us what to eat. And that absolutely is true, and it makes total sense when we're talking about consenting adults, not when we're talking about little children, because as a parent, that is our job. We are the ones in control of what they eat, what we put on the plate, and what they put on the table. That is our role in the division of responsibility of feeding. Their role is to just determine what they're going to eat and how much of it they're going to eat. Where we diverge in philosophy is that Tina seems to believe that she's doing no harm, and it is no harm, feeding a restrictive diet from the get-go, and that, you know, allowing her kid to have food freedom many years down the road when they have their own money and they can explore the world and they can cook their own food is the way to go. But what we're talking about here are really important years for growth and development. When baby starts solids, when baby is eating and growing and moving through those preschool years, that is when we really need to focus on making sure that our child is getting a well-balanced diet. If he wants to consume a fruitarian diet or consume a carnivore diet, or, you know, not eat anything at all and just be breatharian when he's 30 years old, then that is his MO, that is his prerogative. But we want to make sure that we are setting our kids up right for their proper growth and proper development, and also for just fostering a healthy, balanced relationship with food right from the get-go. So bottom line, mamas, pregnancy and those early years of infancy are not the time for restrictive eating. Growing a human, both inside you and when they're out in the world, is a huge responsibility. Literally every piece of skin and hair and nails and organ and muscles, all of these things are literally being grown and manufactured out of the macro and micronutrients that you give it. And yes, I know Tina mentioned how she's going to be hopefully doing extended breastfeeding, which is fantastic. However, breast milk is only as good as what you put into it. And baby's probably going to leach and squeeze every nutrient it possibly can out of that breast milk. But if you're not feeding yourself a really healthy, well-balanced diet, it's not going to yield very fruitful breast milk, if you will, and fuel for baby. Tina, I think you seem like such a wonderful, warm, nurturing woman, and I can just feel the love that you already have for this baby, like radiating through the screen, and I think that is awesome. But for anyone, all you moms out there and families who are on restrictive diets, I think it's just so important that we recognize the unique dietary and nutritional needs of our children as they move through the life stages. And honestly, this fruitarian diet, not only is it very inadequate, but it's actually quite potentially very dangerous. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, my What I Eat in a Day YouTube review. If you loved it, be sure to give it the thumbs up. And if you haven't already gotten a chance to check out all of the other great What I Eat in a Day YouTube review videos, you can check out the iCard right here. Leave me your thoughts on this diet, but also anyone else's diets who you'd love me to review. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time on Abby's Kitchen. Bye.